Hey everyone, welcome to Love to Create by Tonya. Today I'm going to be working on summer garden DIYs. I love how these whimsical farmhouse decor pieces turned out, and I hope that you enjoy them. Let's go ahead and get started. For DIY number one, I'm going to be creating this garden sunflower. I'll leave all of the items that I use for this design in the description below. The first thing I'm going to do is take one of these wood blocks from Dollar Tree that I already pre-drilled some holes in and a couple of the dowel rods to make a stem for my sunflower. And then I got these wood discs from Walmart, and that was perfect for the base of the sunflower itself. Now I'm using that white cotton twine that I had purchased at Dollar Tree just to wrap around the stem. And I really like how this design turned out because you could actually leave it in the neutral color tones, or you can paint it very colorful like I'm going to do on this design. Now, of course, it's always good to save your cardboard, and you can make so many different projects out of that. And I'm using it today for the petals of my sunflower. And I start out just gluing these in a simple pattern, top and bottom on each side, and then we'll be filling in all the spaces in between. And then I'm going to be doing some layering, you can see here, just to give more of a realistic look of the sunflower. And you can see how I'm just layering the next layer of flower petals underneath, and it's really making it come together and have like a 3D look to the sunflower. Now I'm just going to take some of these small craft sticks and just cut the top of them so they resemble a picket fence and glue them around my wood block on the bottom. And I was going to leave this design just as it is with the sunflower coming up out of this little picket fence area, but I do end up putting it in one of the metal tins from Dollar Tree, but you could do it either way. Now here's my buckwheat that I had left over, and this is another project I'll share with you. I actually use this to make my neck warmers in the winter for Christmas gifts, and I may do a DIY on that one later in the year. But if you take this and you mix it with some Elmer's glue, you can just use it to apply to wood to add texture to things. And today I'm going to be using that for the center of the sunflower to make it resemble the seeds in the middle of the sunflower. And I love how this turned out. And you can see once I get that on there, if you really like the neutral tones, you could leave it like this and just maybe paint the petals of the sunflower a lighter color tone. But I definitely loved how this design turned out, and you'll have to let me know what you think of this one in the comments below. And I'm just going to add that little extra layer of glue on top to seal everything in. Now I'm going to be taking that truffle chalk paint because I am going to put a lot of color on this one just for my personal design that I would like to have displayed on my porch. Now I am just going to color the whole base here with that truffle brown because I am going to take some white. Now you see me putting that brown in between the flower petals, and that's just to add the illusion of a shadow underneath there in the corners of the petals to just give that illusion that it's a little darker underneath. Now this is a really bright yellow, and it really doesn't matter what yellow that you're going to use on here. You just want to pick some different color tones, because to make this have a realistic look, it's just all about adding different colors on top of colors. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to keep building the colors up on here, adding some of the bright yellow, a little tan, a little brown in. And then I decided, and I love the colors the way they are, but I am going to add a little bit of orange. And you can see that I'm adding some of that truffle brown to the center. And now I'm just going to mix up a little bit of the orange, and it's kind of like burnt sienna in different colors. But this was just a fun and simple design, and it's really easy to paint on the cardboard, and I just thought I would just have fun with this one today. Now I'm going to start adding some of my brighter yellow and some of my white highlights to the tips of the flower petals. Now I'm going to take my black and just kind of dab down in the center there so it looks more like the sunflower seeds in there. And then I'll put a little bit more different colors in there. You know how a sunflower center kind of looks like it's fading a little bit. Now I'm just going to take some of my muted yellow again and go over that orange just to dull that down. Now I'm going to use my white, like I said, and just do little highlights on my picket fence there. And at this time, I thought I was just going to leave it in this little base before I decided to put the whole thing down into that flowered tin that I purchased at Dollar Tree. But you could do it either way. Now I did decide to take that thistle green acrylic paint, and I'm going to paint my stem. And I like this design because you could really do it, like I said, in any color tones. Okay, here's my little pail that I'm going to use, and I already had a piece of foam in there. I'm repurposing this, and I'm just going to add some of these flowers and the greenery that I think I did get all of these at Dollar Tree. The vine there I think I did purchase from Walmart. But I just thought it would be fun for this design just to add a little floral bouquet at the bottom of the sunflower. Well, everyone, here is DIY number 1, our garden sunflower, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Now for DIY number 2, I'm going to be doing a garden moon blowing leaves. For this design, I'm going to be using some of these wood discs that I purchased at Walmart, some joint compound, some of the wired rope twine, and then I have some of these little paper flowers from my craft box that I'll be pulling some of the leaves out of. Now I'm going to take those little cubes from Dollar Tree and just kind of layer them under here. I want to make a gap in between these because I'm going to wrap that center with some of the nautical rope. Now I'm just going to mix some of the glue and some of the joint compound, and then mix in some of that baking soda to give it some texture. And I really just wanted a thick consistency to apply to the wood board. And I just kept mixing up little dabs of this until I got the thickness that I wanted on the board. Now I did let this part dry overnight, and I went ahead and sketched in just a simple little face. You'll see me do that in a moment. And I let that dry overnight, like I said, and then I went back and painted it with some white acrylic paint and some Mod Podge. Now I'm going to take and mix up some more of the joint compound with the baking soda and glue, and then I'm just going to apply a thin layer of that to my paper leaves. And it gives the leaves a really neat textured look on there. And then I ended up using some celery colored chalk paint, and it was a really pretty green, and I just love how that turned out. Now I'm going to take the Mod Podge and just put a layer of that over my moon and over the leaves to seal everything in. Now here's where I decided to take that nautical rope and just fill in that gap, and I thought that would just add that little something to pull it in for the farmhouse theme. Now I'm going to take my wired rope twine, and here's where I'm going to start making it come out from the moon so I can start attaching my leaves to make them look like they're blowing in the wind. And I just used some hot glue to glue that on there. I realized after I got started that they weren't going to be quite stiff enough, so I took some of those little tiny skewers from Dollar Tree, and they were just thin enough to glue on the back of this wired rope twine. Well, everyone, you'll have to let me know if you've enjoyed today's DIYs in the comments below, and if so, I hope you give this video a thumbs up. And if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I hope you consider doing so. And if you are a subscriber, I thank you so much for your support. Well, here's our finished garden moon, and I do again hope you enjoyed today's DIYs, and I will see you on the next one. Have a great week, everyone.